Welcome to my review of Focus. Focus is directed by Glenn Ficarra, John Requa, and it stars Will Smith, Margot Robbie, and a bunch of other very talented actors and actresses. Now, the premise of this movie follows the story of Nicky, who is played by Will Smith. He is a con artist. He knows all the tricks of the trade. He then runs into Jess, who is played by Margot Robbie, in a very unconventional way. She's basically trying to con him out of money. He becomes interested in her because he just finds the whole idea that she's trying to con people for money and she's kind of really bad at it. For him, he kind of takes her in as like an intern because he's just so fascinated over the whole idea. Once that happens, the story progresses and you get this film that the core of it is really a love story. Yes, there's moments in the movie where they're conning people. There's a lot of moments where cons are happening left and right, but the core of this movie is a love story between Nicky and Jess. Now, going into this film, I really didn't know what to expect, but I have to say, after watching the trailer several times and getting obsessed with the Frank Ocean song Bad Religion that was attached to the first trailer, and then just the idea that Will Smith is playing Deadshot and Margot Robbie is playing Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad, and me being a big DC fan, like those little things made me excited to see this movie. But at the same time, there was that whole thing of Will Smith hasn't done a good movie in a while. So I went in excited, but at the same time expecting that this movie could possibly be really bad. But I have to say, overall, I really did enjoy this movie a lot more than I was expecting to enjoy it, because it just had two very likable actors who played off of each other so well, even though they were both con artists and they're off doing all these crimes and stealing from people, and you as a person with morals, you should be looking at these people and be like, these are bad people, I shouldn't even like them. But you can't help but like them because they're so fun together. And this movie was just overall very fun. And the core of the movie, again, is a love story. So if you go into this movie expecting like Ocean's 11 or one of those big con heist movies, you'll probably end up disappointed with it. Personally, maybe because I'm a female and I just like that kind of stuff, you know, like the romance stuff, that I just overall really did enjoy the overall film when it comes to the con that they were doing, when it comes to the comedy, and when it comes to the love story between these two characters and these two actors who played off of each other so well. As for the cons in the movie, there's some really good stuff that happens in this movie when it comes to them like stealing from people. There's one particular scene where they're in a football stadium that, my goodness, that scene was freaking amazing. Like, that scene, I was on the edge of my seat, and at one point I put my face in my hand because I was like, oh, I can't even watch this anymore. It's so intense. I can't even look at the screen. Like, I felt like I needed to get up and walk out of the theater just to like get a breather. So overall, this film is a film that, even though there's some things that are just not done good or correctly or could have been done better, me personally, I chose to forget those faults because the characters in this movie just made up for any faults that this movie had, because they were just so great. Together, separate, they were just a great overall cast of people in this movie that really made this film what it was for me personally. So overall, I definitely recommend this movie to anybody who has any remote interest in seeing it. If you're a fan of any of the actors, check it out, okay? Because there might be a chance you might not like it, but there might be a greater chance that you might have a good time with it. And that's all that matters when it comes to films, right? So that is my review of Focus. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Hey guys, so the big thing that came out last night is that Zack Snyder on Twitter, out of nowhere, released the first look of Jason Momoa as Aquaman for the DC Cinematic Universe. And I have to say, overall, the response to this image have been pretty damn positive, which is really surprising because you always expect, you know, people to hate on something. And I have to say, overall, from what I'm seeing, you know, looking around on the internet, I have to say, the majority of people find this look to